Let me show you how I'm using all of these buttons to go over something called a dichotomous key in my biology classes. So a dichotomous key is basically a diagram that helps us identify organisms based on observable traits. And as you can see, these diagrams separate species into different categories until there's only one type of species left. So in this activity, I start out giving the students 10 buttons. I give the example of separating the buttons into two categories, buttons with holes and buttons without holes. Since this category doesn't have any singular buttons, we have to keep dividing the buttons into smaller and smaller groups until we can name specific buttons. As you can see here, we went with 2 versus 4 holes, and then the different colors of holes, and then naming all of the buttons at the end. Then we go to the opposite side and do the same thing until we get only singular buttons left. This helps the students make observations and separate buttons based on some type of grouping they decided for their 10 buttons they start out with. And like you saw in the beginning, each student's going to get a different set of 10 buttons. Shout out to all my teachers that I asked for buttons. I got some pretty unique ones this year. I've done this activity in previous years, but this year I focused on only giving the students 10 buttons. I used to do this as a group project and give them like 20 or 25. I absolutely love compartmentalizing this down to a little smaller activity and giving the students 10 buttons. I also have a lab sheet with the directions, post-lab questions, and a place to show how they separated their buttons. If you would like any of these resources, they're going to be on my Teacher Pay Teachers for free.